Okay, listen. I am going to do this review the best way I can, okay? Because I do not feel like doing it tomorrow. And that's why I'm going to review Full Gear right now. Now, if you wonder how I'm talking, it's going to be a little bit difficult tonight because I had to go to the dentist earlier today, like I said in my SmackDown review. Listen, it's like this before I begin the Full Gear review. They have put some temporaries in my mouth from the bottom. It's still a little hard to talk. The numbness is at least worn off. I have been in a dentist chair since 10:30 this morning and sat all the way to 3 o'clock, and I still have to go back tomorrow to get the not implants, but the temporaries pulled out and put the real ones in my mouth, okay? And I don't know how long I'm going to be sitting there. So I'm going to do this review because I already know tomorrow morning I got to go back to the dentist, okay? So the pain isn't that bad. It's a little hard to talk on the side of my mouth. It's a little hard to eat, but hopefully all will be done by tomorrow. At least my mouth is not numb like jelly like it has been almost for the past 7 to 8 hours. But I am going to do this review the best way I can. And maybe I could wince in pain and kind of squirm a little. Yes, I can, depending on how loud I talk. But I'm going to do this fucking review of AEW Full Gear. So, if you don't know why it's hard for me to talk, I just explained to you why it's going to be hard for me to talk. But, where do we begin? First off, welcome to my AEW review of Full Gear, live from Baltimore, Maryland, at the Royal Farms Arena. I don't know if it was sold out or not, but it looked like a full house. Stage was different. Still had the tunnels, but it had like a lot of gears to it. It's not a bad stage. At least it had to do with pay-per-view name of Full Gear, so I did like that. But they had a long ramp. I just want to talk about the stage real quick. A long ramp coming down. Kind of like how I think Impact did with the ramp just connected to the ring and not going down the ring and everything. So, it was a nice ramp, but like I said, it looked like a full house in there. The first match to kick off the show, though, was Bea Priestley and Britt Baker. They had a video package for that. On commentary, once again, they brought back Taz. I'm glad to see that. I hope they hired Taz, to be honest, because Taz is great. I like Taz on commentary, okay? I always like that with him. So, I guess they called him back for a second time now. Golden Boy was also on commentary, and Excalibur. This wasn't a bad commentary team out there, to be honest, and it did add to the show, so I did like who was on commentary out there. The pre-show match, listen, it wasn't a bad match or anything. I thought it was okay. I think it may have to do with Bea Priestley kind of carrying this match a lot, because, me and my friend were talking, this was probably one of the best matches that Britt Baker's honestly had now up to this date. And I believe a lot of that had to do with Priestley carrying the match, too. Wasn't bad or anything, but it ended up with Baker hitting the lockjaw for the win. If you know the story about the match, it goes all the way back to, I thought it was a Fight for the Fall when she got hurt and everything. So, I guess I just want to... But yes, it ended up with... Britt Baker getting the win with the lockjaw on Bea Priestley. Like I said, I kind of thought this would have kind of continued a little bit longer, but I guess they were going to end the feud from there. But after the match, though, I enjoyed the commentary and everything too. Taz was at least different and everything, but the match itself, I guess this was a grudge match between both of them, and it was okay for what it was. But after the match, then. They had a spotlight, which had Awesome Kong there. And, when is Kong ever going to wrestle? I'm actually glad to see Kong back. And Brandy Rhodes, who, like I said the other day on the Dynamite review, I don't know what Brandy is trying to be right now. This Disney villain, I don't know, Maleficent vampire. What is going on with that? Because I don't understand this heel turn she's got going on. I honestly don't. Okay, this whole dark gimmick, or I don't know. You know, Kong, she had new gear out there too. She ended up pretty much going to beat Priestley in a spinning back fist, and then doing the implant buster. Taking out B. Priestley. Pretty much Rhodes, Brandy Rhodes gave her a knife and pretty much cut a piece of B. Priestley's hair and smelled it almost like a trophy and everything. Pretty much tucked into her gear. So, I don't know. Listen, I don't know where this Brandy Rhodes thing is going. I honestly don't. As long as she's not in the ring, I guess I'm a little intrigued by it. Now I want to see Awesome Kong wrestle. That's what I want to see get in the ring, okay? Now her versus Brie Priestley, anybody else in this company, I'm looking forward to, because honestly, I haven't seen Kong really do anything. And honestly, the last time I really saw Awesome Kong on TV was when I went to All Out and she was in that Battle Royale. But I don't understand this whole Dark Brandy Rhodes gimmick. I don't get it, man. I told you before, she looks like a freaking Disney villain out there, so... or a vampire. I don't get it. I honestly just don't get it, okay? So, I don't know, but I don't want to see in the ring. I don't get the heel turn. I didn't get the pointing the first time, but we'll see where this goes, though. But the show did kick off, though. Pretty much they had an intro for Jim Ross, JR and Excalibur on commentary. Just those two on commentary, though. There was no Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone was on assignment, but I guess he had to go commentate for the Georgia Bulldogs, so he was not going to be there. Then again, I already heard stories about Schiavone. He had a birthday party, and I'm not going to get into the old Jimmy Havoc story right now. You can go look it up yourself, but it's a pretty interesting story if that's true, though. But as the commentary team of Excalibur and Jim Ross are going to be on the show tonight. We kicked it off with the Young Bucks versus Santana Ortiz, LAX, proud and powerful, whatever you want to call them. Go ahead. The Rock and Roll Express were on ringside, by the way, as they pretty much met with the Young Bucks for the match. This was a good match, I will say that. This isn't your usual spot fest from the Young Bucks or anything, and I expected both of these teams to go all out, which they did. Don't get me wrong, I had some streaming problems watching it, but this was still a great match nonetheless. I did like the that crazy submission thing with Ortiz putting a Boston Crab in and Santana doing the Campbell Clutch. Almost like they were all jumped on top of each other doing this multi-submission move in. Pretty much they're beating up the Young Bucks throughout the match. Hitting drop kicking Nick Jackson to his legs then. One thing I did like was that gum. I know some people call it a "you sick fuck" chant, but I think the gum fell out of Nick Jackson's mouth. He threw it back at Santana. Santana took the gum from the ground, put it back in his mouth as Nick Jackson pretty much started going at both Santana and Ortiz in, taking them out. The Bucks pretty much took Santana down in to the floor. Man, this is getting really hard to talk tonight. Branch chanted, "This is awesome." A lot of it was focused on Nick's leg at one point, because when they went for the bang for your buck move, pretty much as Nick Jackson jumped on the top rope and everything, he pretty much fell to the ground when he was trying to hit the springboard. Then it did not work. Mac pretty much tried to help Nick try to go for it again, but they broke. LAX broke it up. Matt ended up pretty much trying was doing the match himself. Nick had got in then. Okay. But yeah, so Nick pretty much went in, going to both Santana or. But yes, he started going back at LAX and taking him out. It ended up with Ortiz and him doing a powerbomb on Nick Jackson. Matt had broke the pin, but they were still able to hit the street sweeper on Nick Jackson in. As Matt tried to break it up, it did not work. Pride and Powerful, LAX pretty much get the win over the Bucks, which I kind of figured, to be honest, because number one, I know some people are going to go like, well, the Bucks are going to put themselves over, but I figured LAX are going to win since they are the new team in town, and it's going to make them look serious too. So, of course, they would pick up the win, but this was a very great match by both LAX and the Young Bucks in general. But then after the match, then they started beating up the Young Bucks. Then Sammy Guevara came out, then pretty much had his camera in his hand, his camera phone, pretty much, helping them beat up the Young Bucks, pretty much giving them a loaded sock. But the next thing you know, the Rock and Roll Express get in the ring, and holy crap, they started beating up pretty much Pride and Powerful, LAX, whatever. I'm trying to come up with the right name, but and Guevara then, pretty much then Ricky Morton. How old is Ricky Morton? 60 something? What, 62, 63 years old? And this guy does a freaking Canadian Destroyer. And I'll say one thing too. I should have said this in the women's match. I swear that people have just killed the Canadian Destroyer at this point. Okay, I swear everyone can just do a Canadian Destroyer like it's nothing. All right, they've just killed that move. Like it was honestly, in a way, I feel like the Canadian Destroyer was special at one point, but it hasn't been special since Petey Williams has done it, because everyone can do a Canadian Destroyer now. But this guy does a Canadian Destroyer and then a suicide dive. Fans chant, "You still got it," and just go crazy for Ricky Morton out there of the Rock and Roll Express. So, I've said this before. I feel like the Rock and Roll Express, they still can go. To this day, it amazes me they can still go to this day. And I swear I've seen them on 3-4 different shows right now, but they can still go. I know people call these guys old and stuff, but there's a reason why they're still a tag team and they're still wrestling to this day. But that got a humongous pop when Ricky Morton hit a Canadian Destroyer and a suicide dive. It looked crazy, okay? So you have to give it to them. I will admit that though. That was something to pop about. Now, my problem, before I get into the next match, and this has to do with the first half of the show, is Baltimore itself. This crowd, and this played heavily into the tag match and the second match that came up of Pac versus Hangman Page. This crowd was like dead almost. Like, it was like a half-ass crowd out there. And this was a really good match with Pac and Hangman. It was very enjoyable. But the problem that took away from this match was the crowd. It was like half the crowd was either paying attention to this match and was into it, and the other half of the crowd was just sitting on their hands most of the time. And this was a very great match. Let me say that a freaking superplex Hangman did on Pac, though, then throwing him across the ring was crazy. He was gonna go for the Deadeye though. Pretty much the Brutalizer was put in. Pac set up for the Black Arrow. Page rolled out of the way. Page went for the buckshot lariat. Pac avoided it. Pretty much then they ran into the referee then. Pac was going to low blow him like last time when they were on AEW, when they did the match on the first ever episode of AEW. But Page knew the nut shot was coming. Pretty much he blocked it, hit him with a discus lariat, clothesline, hit him with a Deadeye for the win. So Hangman finally got his win back over Pac. This was a very fun match to watch, though, to be honest. Really good. They had nearly about 20 minutes out there. I enjoyed it. I just wish the crowd would have gotten more into this match. I really wish they did. It's just like the first half of this show, the crowd was very dead. Okay, you're going to see that throughout more tonight. But this was just a very, very fun match to watch. I just felt the crowd was just dead throughout half of it. So Hangman getting the win. I kind of expected it, though, especially over Pac after Pac had the last win on him. I really said that Hangman's the first person now to pin Pac in a match on AEW, so, yeah. Next, a match I really had no idea what was happening here. Shawn Spears versus Tully Blanchard. I'm sorry, Shawn Spears with Tully Blanchard versus Joey Janela. I don't even know why this match was happening. Listen, you'd have to watch Dark, and you have to watch Being the Elite to know why this match was happening. The only thing I remember from Being the Elite is what he put a cigarette in his drink, Joey Janela. And then I saw a little of the match on Dark the other night, and the ending of it when Tully and Shawn were pretty much beating up Joey Janela in and were like pulling his mouth or his teeth were like pliers. listen, the match was whatever. I really couldn't have cared. I don't think this crowd cared that much about it too. And I like Sean Spears, but I feel like his stock has gone down ever since his match with Cody, because they were building him to be this big heel at first, like an upper mid-card heel, and you got Tully Blanchard out there with you, but it's almost like I've seen Sean Spears lose more than he wins. And honestly, I'd like to hear a promo from him, or at least Tully Blanchard. Come on, you got one of the 4 horsemen standing out there with you. Make this guy look serious. You could be a big heel. I just feel like they're not doing nothing right now with him. He's kind of cheering on the board. I feel like I've seen Sean Spears take more losses than wins, but he did take a win right here though. He did take a win. He did get a win here too. I don't know how much it means over Janela, but at least Sean Spears did get a win. Hopefully something is different going on for him, but I just feel like Sean Spears hasn't really done nothing that much since All Out against Cody, and I just feel like he just has Tully out there to have him with him. But I just didn't really know why this match was happening until I explained. Yeah, it was either you had to watch Being the Elite, or you just had to watch that Dark show, and that's all I could really give you the knowledge of that match. Unless you know more than me about it, then go ahead. But I couldn't have cared less, and the crowd didn't really care that much either. They interviewed in Superbad, kept Sabian in the back. I don't know, Sabian talked about alliances, and Penelope Ford showed up, giving him a kiss on the cheek. Next, this was like one of the matches the crowd did wake up for though. SCU, Private Party, and the Lucha Brothers in a triple threat for the AEW tag titles. Number one, I just want to say that Phoenix is a fucking maniac out there. Holy, when he does that top rope thing, springboard across the ropes and does a freaking corkscrew, that crowd goes nuts for him, okay? They go nuts. But this was a very fun tag match to watch. Was it a spot fest? Yes, it was. I'll say that right there. But this was a fun match to watch. Excuse me. It's tight, man. Cold. Not cold, but chief. Pretty much Private Party. Arthur Cassidy. Pretty much on what Mark Quinn had a shooting star press on Kazarian. Private Party. We're gonna go for their finisher. They threw Pentagon in them out the ring then. Pretty much SCU hit their finisher on them. On a Private Party. Listen, I figured Private Party was gonna take the pinfall as expected. I knew this since last Wednesday they were gonna take the pinfall. That's the only reason why they were added to this match. They didn't want the Lucha Brothers losing anybody right now, and SCU just won the title. So, I guess, Private Party was going to be the fall guys. It was still a fun match to watch, but I just knew Private Party was going to lose in general. I figured that to happen. So, yeah, Private Party, they took the pinfall here. But then after the match, Pentagon and Phoenix, I guess they're heels, they attacked SCU. Penta had a chair. And then next thing you know, he was going to set up for the Penta drive, but the lights went out. The lights came back on. Then there was this other person dressed as Pentagon. They kept saying it's Pentagon Tress out there on commentary. They did the Cerro Medio thing. But then this fake Pentagon Jr. pretty much took down the real Pentagon in and slammed to the ground. And then he hit the Angel's wings. Who do you expect it to be? It was the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. Fans chanted Fallen Angel then as SCU celebrated. So SCU being a hold again after Christopher Daniels was attacked a few weeks ago during the whole tag tournament thing when Pentagon and Phoenix hurt him, and I guess this was payback. He got payback on him, making his return. So SCU is a hold again, no. But yeah, spot fest though throughout this entire match, and that's what really had the crowd going. It's sort of like I said, the crowd started to wake up here. But then next thing you know, I feel like the crowd kind of went down again. Rio versus Emi Sakura for the AEW Women's Championship. I must be late on this of, Emi Sakura coming out there dressed as Freddie Mercury and everything. Listen, I didn't hate this match, but this obviously tells you that AEW needs to work on the women's division in general. Because at the end of the day, I'll say this. The crowd was kind of dead throughout this match. Mostly dead. This match was announced at the last minute. I know they had a video package and, said all this stuff about Rio and Emi Sakura. But why did you build this up? Because You just announced this match last Wednesday. You had the champion pin last Wednesday. You knew who was going to win this match tonight. You almost didn't have to watch it because you could tell what happened Wednesday. You could tell Rio was going to go over. They talked about this whole 13-year history. Now, it would have been nice if you had video packages and more detail into this to give fans a reason to care about it and everything. But you announced it last minute on Wednesday. You didn't really know why. And if you're going off this win-loss record thing, too, to what I was told, I think Emi Sakura has more losses than she has wins. So how in God's name is she even getting a title shot to begin with? This feel like a match that was just announced at the last second. I didn't hate it. I think it got better in, later on. The mostly thing I liked out of this match was when Sakura hit that tilt-a-whirl on Rio for the pinfall and everything for a 2 count. I know some people are not the biggest fan of Rio, and you could see JR and Excalibur. I know they got Emi, and Emi's wrong, Emi Sakura's name, but it was one thing I noticed they kept saying on commentary is that Rio is 98 pounds. She's 98 pounds. How much force? She did like 3 double stomps out there in that match, in which I still think, I don't know how much effective that was. I know some people are going to say it's too. The girl's like 98 pounds out there. How is she beating up any of these people that are bigger than her or even selling to her in general? I know people are going to complain about that. But that was mostly a lot of thing I did here on commentary, though. Rio is 98 pounds. Rio is 98 pounds. Rio is 98 pounds. She's a small girl. That was one of the most things I heard throughout this match, though. Okay? But, I like the finishing sequence of the whole pinning attempts, and Rio was able to roll up Emi Sakura for the win, and they hugged after that. But, like I said, I didn't hate the match. I liked it in the better half. I know some people may like it more than I did, though. Because some people could say, like, I think I said this to my friend earlier. Listen, the only way you're going to like this match is A, if you are a fan of that style of, the Joshi style of wrestling, then it works for you. I know some fans aren't really going to get into it like that. Or just B, that they had no build for this match. There was no build for this match. So why should you care about it, okay? I think the crowd got into it a little bit later on. I said before, I thought the match got better later on. But it just felt like it was there to be there. It's like they had to have this match, and it was there to be there, okay? Now, next, after the women's match, the AEW Championship was on the line. I know it wasn't the main event, but I guess we know why. They introduced the judges at first. I guess I missed this part, and I had to go back, because I had no why they were out there for. Dean Malenko, Arn Anderson, and Great Muta. They were there to determine a match if it went to a 60-minute draw. They did the video packages for Jericho and Cody. Cody, of course, has his grand entrance and everything with pyro, lots of pyro, I should say. He came out with MJF. He hugged his mom and everything before he started the match. And, JR talked about this same building of Ron Simmons being Vader and Superstar Billy Graham, which, or was a Superstar Billy Graham being Bruno Sammartino in this building. That would be started on Billy Graham. But, yes, Cody made his big entrance. Chris Jericho came out then. He had Jake Hager out there with him, which also happy birthday to Chris Jericho, which they kept saying he is 49 years old. Doesn't look like it to me. I guess. I didn't know how old Jericho was at this point. But the guy can still go. Aubrey Edwards was the referee. Fans chanted happy birthday. And then, they chant happy birthday, but then I believe fans were then chanting, fuck your birthday, which I thought was pretty funny. This match, I thought this was a good match. Some people say this was the best match out of the night. Now, I believe this match told a great story out there, though. I will say that between Cody and Chris Jericho. Started off slow at first with Jericho stalling. But, as the match went on, the biggest thing you could take from this match was Cody doing a dive over the top rope. Like I told you, this ramp is elevated, by the way, so it wasn't a ramp going down. When you see Jericho dodge and Cody fall onto the ramp then, it looked like Cody's face slid. It slid, and you just see this big gash bleeding from his forehead. The medical trainers had to pretty much check on Cody then, because it did look really bad, though. In all honesty, it did, because blood was pouring from this guy's head, like, big time. And Jericho was just sitting in the ring with a chair, waiting for Cody to get back in. Cody, I guess he said something, and he was good to go. Hager threw another chair back in the ring. Jericho, no, he threw another chair. No, he pretty much had the chair. They kept replaying it. Jericho pretty much tossing Cody in the ringside. Hager took a shot at him as he distracted the referee. Cody was trying to come back from it. Because the story is that Cody's almost like in the fight of his life when you look at it now at this point. Jericho is just still punching Cody in the gut, taking him down. Cody was going to go for his moonsault. Jericho dodged it then as he crashed and burned after that. Jericho went for the lion salt. Cody put his legs up. He tried to go for a springboard cutter for a 2 count, even a disaster kick. Fans were starting to come back into this match as people chanted for Cody then. They went back to the outside. Jericho pretty much approached Cody's mom. She slapped Jericho. Cody knocked Jericho back to the ground. Cody's mom took another shot at Jericho then. Pretty much getting him back into the ring after he hugged his mom then. Cody was going to go for the ropes. He tried to get the figure 4. Jake Hager pretty much shoved Cody into the floor then again, taking him out. Once again throwing him back into the ring. But I guess the referee saw the next one when Hager got involved. And he tried to get to the top rope. Pretty much then, the referee, Aubrey, kicked out Jake Hager. Jericho was pissed because he just saw MJF tried to get it through the hey, hey, goodbye song to Jake Hager. Hager pretty much started beating up MJF then, throwing him around in. This had Cody pretty much then take not Cody, but Chris Jericho take the AEW title and hit Cody in the face with throwing the belt aside, but only still a 2 count then. Cody went for a crossroads, still a 2 count. Fans chanted, "This is awesome." They did the yay boo thing. Cody came back with a big pop then, doing the bionic elbow, Dusty's thing. Cody went for a disaster kick, but Chris Jericho was able to get a code breaker on him then. He even took off his weightlifting belt, pretty much whipping Cody Rhodes with. I was waiting for Jim Ross to say he's whipping him like a government mule out there. But he was like, "Stop the damn match!" And even Aubrey was getting tired of it. Then after that, Cody came back. He did a Hurricane Rana on Chris Jericho then, but Jericho caught him, had him on the top rope. Like, he brought him back down because he tried to do a Hurricane Rana off the top rope. Jericho put him in the walls of Jericho, put it into a lion tamer then. MJF stood there, pretty much worried, threw in the white towel. Pretty much Jericho kept stomping on his head, and the match ended. Fans were pretty much pissed and booed. Now, I may not be the biggest fan of this finish right here, but in a way, number one, it does protect Cody because they didn't want Cody losing decisively. Like I said, this was a very good wrestling match, in my opinion. I think it was a good match, and it was mostly a lot of its story, because Chris Jericho was able to retain the championship, and he celebrated the Inner Circle. MJF checked on Cody then. Fans chanted, you effed up, or fuck him up, Cody then. Cody was able to get up. He didn't look pleased then. MJF pretty much was apologizing and everything. But the next thing you know, I'm sure everybody in their mama saw this coming. And I said this a few days ago on Wednesday. MJF finally turned on Cody, and now he is the heel that people have been wanting him to be for a very long time. Listen, I figured this was going to happen one way or another, of MJF screwing him out of the championship. Did I really think it was going to be a white towel? No, but I said somehow, some way, MJF was going to take out Cody, and that's going to be the next feud. Fans chanted asshole at him then. Asshole at him then, and as MJF pretty much wiped his feet and he left, some fan threw a drink at him and he smiled, and I guess I don't know if they threw that fan out, but that got major heat. Number one, this worked perfectly for MJF, and it did work because he got major heat out there because these people love Cody Rhodes so much. He got mega heat, almost like some 80s, 90s, well, I would say 80s really, when fans throwing drinks at you. I mean, maybe 90s too, if you want to go from Hogan turning into the NWO, and, fans throwing trash and stuff in the ring. This is one of those things when you got nuclear heat out there. And that was some big heat MJF got, especially for fan threw a drink at him. That you know it's working when fans hate you for that. So MJF drew great heat though, but I thought it was a good match though. Okay, I know some people say it was the best match of the night. If you want to look at it from that, and I'm gonna tell you why the difference between this and the main event. But I thought it was a really good match, told a great story, and a hot angle, or, a hot finish, well, after the match then, to get people embraced in more, because I guess Cody's next feud is going to be against MJF. But we then went to the main event in the Lights Out Unsanctioned match, which I couldn't really say was Lights Out, because the Lights Out for like 2 seconds with a red light, but the lights were still on, so I wouldn't call it a Lights Out match, but it was an unsanctioned match. Sorry, my mouth. Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega. I'm going to try to explain this shit the best way I can, but I will say one thing if I don't go through every other move in this match. This was a freaking war. This was some hardcore shit. This was like EC fucking W out there, or if you want to say CZW if you want to go that far, but holy shit, this was a fucking war out there with both of these guys, okay? Kenny coming out through, of course, with his entrance. Mox coming out through the crowd, trying to go for the Death Rider already. Did not work. Both of these two started going at each other as soon as the bell rang. Mox pretty much was able to get some weapons then, as he was pretty much, cursing at the camera. Mox had a trash can, and he had a barbed wire baseball bat, raking it across Kenny Omega's back, which there was blood pouring from his back then. Omega came back and Moxley with a chair, pretty much knocking him down with it. He even threw a trash can at him because Mox kept using that baseball bat and even trying to rip it across his head and everything. They fought to the outside then through the crowd. Kenny jumping off the guardrail, handrail from the crowd out there into a double stomp on Moxley. Looked pretty deadly. Oh, I forgot that beautiful looking drop kick he did. That was he got some elevated time on there, especially to the outside of the ring. Mox was in the crowd. Omega just running doing that drop kick. It looked fantastic. They came back over the barricade into the ring. Mox got the baseball barbed wire bat. Streamer started jamming in Omega's head then, hitting him in the gut with it, hitting him in the back with it, raking it. There's blood everywhere. Even set up the table outside. He kept saying talk some shit now to Kenny. Even stomping his foot on the bat. Omega was able to pretty much try to grab Mox from behind, but Mox pretty much used the baseball bat on his arm then, pretty much, finally let him go from it. Omega knocked it back to the side. There was a table on the outside of it then. Omega pretty much was able to stop Mox then, breaking out of it, and underneath before he get a suicide dive through the table. Throwing the trash can at his head as Mox ran into it. Omega even pulled out a barbed wire broom because he is the cleaner. He pretty much threw it at him as he tried to do a suicide dive. Hit him with the broom on the back of his head, which there was lots of blood, lots and lots of blood pouring out of Mox's head from it. He did a double stomp on him, even ripping it, sweeping his back of so much blood from it then. Even had another trash can he put over the post. He did that you can't escape move, even taking the trash. Even though he kind of missed, he did a moonsault with it. I thought he missed it though. Omega pretty much then had he had a board that had a bunch of mouse traps on it. And you know where this is gonna go. He had the mouse traps in. He hit him with a V-trigger on Moxley. But before you could try to take out Mox did that suplex inside out thing into the mouse traps. And JR said, this is the first for me if you ever saying that. Mox pretty much went back to the outside. He had these chains or whatnot. He kept hitting Kenny with it. With these like this big metal gold chain. Even hit a neck breaker on him. But Omega was able to get the trash can, throw it over his head. and knock him with it. And then, like he tried to hang him on the outside of ropes with the chains. Then next thing you know, Mox was in the ring. He had this screwdriver or an ice pick. Then Omega dodged it, knocked into the turnbuckle pad. Mox pretty much came back with chains again. Omega took him out with it. Hit him with a Snapdragon. Hit it about 2 times. And he had the trash can on the outside. He did that big dive he does up to the Terminator clap, knocking Mox into the table then with the trash can. Once again, there's a lot of blood throughout this match. Fans were going, holy shit. Next thing you know, there was glass in the ring. Omega pretty much had a shard of glass he had. Poured it out. Ripping his hand into it, just like cutting it. And the glass is there. There's glass all over the ground. It looks crazy out there. Mox tried to kick Omega. He tried to slam into the glass, but Omega pretty much hit him. He slammed Mox into the glass and across the ropes. He put him in a sharpshooter. Mox, which I guess he crawled for the ropes, there's no rope break in an unsanctioned match. Mox crawled through the broken glass, cutting himself, just cutting through the broken glass, getting his way out of that hole, though, which he was able to get up right since, so I'm glad Excalibur said that there was, this is a no DQ match, so I don't know how rope breaks were going to work, but he elevated himself to get out of it. Omega had the glass in, he shoved it into Mox's mouth, hitting the V-trigger in, but Mox got out of it, suplexed him onto the glass that looked deadly. Omega got right back up after that suplex, no-sold it, hit him with a V-trigger in. Mox got out of the ring. Omega took the screwdriver, pretty much kind of like almost jabbing it inside of his head like this. Omega started, like he said, bring it out. The Young Bucks and Hangman brought out this giant barbed wire, this barbed wire bed and everything. And you just see the Young Bucks and Omega and Hangman like, what do we get ourselves into again here? I guess they're part of this whole thing too. But Omega and Moxley started brawling up there. One of the V-trigger, one was trying to go for the one wing. Mox tried to go for a Death Rider. Next thing you know, Mox pretty much hit Omega with a suplex onto all the barbed wire. Fans chanting, holy shit. I'm going like, what am I watching right here? I don't even know what I'm watching at this point. The Elite and the security guys helped him up. Mox runs one of the security guards then. They were like by the Full Gear sign on the stage. Next thing you know, make it a V-trigger as both men crashed through this whole plexiglass thing. Omega hit his head while going through it. This looks freaking crazy, let me say that. But they finally got back to the ring. Mox hit the Death Rider then onto the glass. Got a near fall. Next thing you know, Mox started cutting the canvas in, bringing up the wooden padding of the ring. He tried to go for a pile driver, but Kenny dodged it then. Back body dropping to the boards. Kenny hit him with a V-trigger to the back of Mox's head. He was going to go for the one wing angel, but Mox got out of it. He hit him with a DDT. And fans chanted AEW after that. Omega went for a Phoenix Splash. And there was one thing he said, when commentary said when he went for the Phoenix Splash. He did it like his friend, a Golden Star, he was saying. Now, we're not going to mention his name, Kota Ibushi, but a Golden Star he mentioned throughout this, though. Okay? And he missed the whole Phoenix Splash because Kota Ibushi does that Phoenix Splash. But he missed it. Mox picked him up, hit him with a elevated Death Rider for the win. Winning the match, the Bucks pretty much came out and checked on Omega and trainers. Pretty much John Moxley started talking to the camera, pretty much saying F you. That's all we know and stuff. That's all we all know this stuff as they close out the show then, and that was the match. Listen, this was a war. This was a hardcore war. These guys beat the hell out of each other out there. This damn near went 40 minutes. I know some people aren't going to be the biggest fans of an unsanctioned match. I see some people already online saying that, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano's unsanctioned match in Chicago is way better than this. Could be, but these two went to war. I thought this was almost like an ECW style type of match. Some people would say CZW too, but either way you want to go, these guys went to war. These guys showed violence. They kicked each other's ass. Mox promises violence. You saw glass. You saw barbed wire bats, brooms, chains, just barbed wire beds. I know some people are going to be the biggest fans of a lot of hardcore stuff, but I still think it was great. It was one of the biggest things of the night. And that's why I said between this and Jericho and Cody. Now, Jericho and Cody was probably the better match of the night because it was a very good wrestling match with a great story being told and a hot angle finish, as the main event was a crazy barbed wire, not barbed wire, but it's a crazy, insane, hardcore ECW style match for 40 minutes. Now, the lights out part, I just only think I don't get the lights out part because the lights were still on, so there you go. But it was great, though. Overall, I think this was a great show in general. I enjoyed both of these matches very much. That was probably the best things of the night, including triple threat tag team match. I thought the Bucks versus LAX and Hangman versus Pac was a very good match. I wish the crowd was just into it a little bit more. That's my only problem with it. I don't really care about Shawn Spears and Joey Janela. Just was just like it was there to be there. Same with Rio and Emi Sakura, and I say that because it wasn't a bad match, and I thought it was better towards the end. It's just there was no build to this match. Just like, why should we care what was going on? Because you matched the match at the last freaking minute. Pre-show was alright too, I will say that. I just still don't understand the Brandy Rhodes dark, I'm trying to be a Disney villain or whatever it is going on right there. It was like a total of 8 matches if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, I think I went through every match on this show. Yeah, I think I got all of them, but that's what I would say about the show. I think it was a great show. I think it was fun, and it had its parts. Like I said, it had its parts. There were some things that were great. There were some things that were good. And there were some things that were just downright bad. But overall, it was a very enjoyable show. I just wish Baltimore could have been a better crowd. But I think Baltimore woke up when Chris Jericho and Cody came on in the main event itself. And, the tag team match, so the triple threat tag team, that's where the crowd really woke themselves up and were really into the show then. Because I was wondering, like, where's the enthusiasm for Baltimore, for God's sake? Show something. I don't know if it was a full house or not. It looked like a full house to what I've seen on the internet and TV and everything. So I'm just going to go off the word off of that, okay? But overall, I think this was a very fun show to watch. It was great. I enjoyed it. And hopefully, you see this show pretty soon. It's really good. I will say that. But other than that, though, I'm going to finish this review because my mouth is getting annoyed, and I'm sure you're all having a hard time possibly making out every word I've had throughout this review, but I've done the best way I can to do this review, and I'm going to end it from here. But comment, subscribe, tell me what you think about AEW Full Gear tonight on Saturday. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Follow me on Twitter at HoodedKnight890. Did you like this show or did you not like this show? Okay, tell me what your opinions are. But other than that, I'm going to end this show right here. I'm going to go watch New Japan Pro Wrestling right now. I know they had a show in America during the time of while I was watching Full Gear. So I am going to go check out that show because it is Jushin Thunder Liger's last match in America. So I am going to go check that show out in general too. I'm sorry if I never came back with, like I said, for what was it? Power Struggle review, but you already know my opinions on it, and I told you before, I already popped big for Hiromu Takahashi coming back, so there you go. But other than that, I'm done. I hope you guys had a fun night. I'm gonna go and get ready for this appointment for the dentist again tomorrow. See you guys later. Peace out.